Ready? All right, we'll go ahead and call the Becker City Council meeting of October 19th, 2021 to order. If you'll rise and join us for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, has council had an opportunity to review the meeting minutes from October 5th? Yes. I'll ask for a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes. Second.
Motion from Becky, second from Robin. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor can state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Any changes to this evening's agenda? If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve the set agenda.
We'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Okay.
Motion from Robin, second from Rick. Those in favor can state aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. Yes, an open forum. Anyone here wishing to address the council? If not, we'll move on to committee reports. EDA.
EDA, we met last Monday at 5:30. We had a lengthy monthly market update from Member Voller. Lot of talk just about the kind of the housing market and just say economic conditions in the area and in the region, and it's kind of nice to when you have that information there to be able to hear from somebody who's actually boots on the ground from it. So briefly talked, we had updates pretty much after that, so updated the EDA on the solar development, the solar project across the street there. Also planning update, and then about one of the items that we have later on our agenda.
Okay. Public Works.
Public Works. We spent quite a bit of time talking about our street projects and switching some stuff around, and Phil was gonna work on which is the best route to go. I don't know if he's made any decisions yet, but there'll be more to come on that. Dawson Court stormwater collection, they wanted us to do something with that drainage, but it's all part of the runoff. There's really not much we can do other than mow it, and because it's dry. Normally it's got water in it, but it's dry this year, so it's got trees and everything growing in it. So Public Works is gonna clean it up and make it look a little better, but we can't close it, we can't fill it in or anything. The dump station is about complete. We gotta do a ribbon cutting. We promised we would all come.
For the dump station, huh?
Yeah. Well, they never get any action down there, so. Anyway, it's going pretty good, and, when is it gonna be done, did he say, Phil?
It's done.
It is done, just a checklist? Okay, so we'll have to drag the mayor down there next week and do a ribbon cutting. HVAC controls, are crapped out in the buildings over there, so he's looking, getting some prices on repair, replace, whatever it's gonna take. That's pretty much it. And then, of course, I was doing the.
Yes. Park and Rec.
Want me to?
Sure.
Right, we met last night. We discussed youth baseball fields, putting in a couple more fields for youth baseball at one of the local parks. Talked about the parks projects for 2022, including the BCC campus phase 2, Colbinger Park, and the tot lot on Brenda. We talked a little bit about recruiting for an open board position that will be coming at the end of the year. Reminder that Barktoberfest is this Saturday. I do think they're still looking for volunteers if anybody's available. And we talked a little bit about the remodel of the rock wall and what they're gonna do with the room at the BCC. That's it.
All right, Fire Department.
Fire, we met last night. Nothing major. We hired 3 firefighters, so we have 3 new ones on board. The open house went really well. They didn't run out of donuts, so that's a good
It's a good sign.
Yeah, but, and it looks like the call numbers were pretty low for September. There wasn't as many. That's always nice. So, yeah, that's about it.
Any other meetings that were missed? None? All right, we'll move into board committee and consultant reports. First, we have the 2022 irrigation pump maintenance plan with Mr. Scharfenkamp.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. So before you today, I have a 2-year plan kind of laying out our irrigation pumps in order to better avoid any downtime that we've had over the last 5 years. 2017, we had a failure that took us out for multiple weeks, 2019, 2020. So just trying to proactively stay ahead of that and provide a plan that prevents any of those major failures from just popping up on us like they have so far. So we did have EH Runner out to test a lot of the units, and that's where we were finding that next year could also bring some issues if we don't take care of some of the ones that are on the first portion of this plan. So on the plan, I do have 2022 and 23, just so we can see the full picture of it. However, I'm only asking for approval tonight for the 2022 portion, as next week we'll be doing our irrigation system blowout, and when we do that, we rent from EH Runner, and we would have them pick up the unit with the crane to avoid some mobilization fee. And that would not hit this budget cycle, that would be on 2022 still. So it just is seeking approval tonight so that we can move forward with it, so they could pull that yet next week. And that would be addressing the one, so we have 2 units in the championship course pump house. One of them failed this year, and the other one has not been touched since it was installed in 2001. So that unit would be replaced and repaired. And then the local 9 has a 25 horsepower pump that has not been touched. So those 2 units would be taken this fall yet, and new motors would be put on them, and then we would refurbish the pumps that supplies the water to that motor. So otherwise, as I mentioned, there would be no impact in 2021 for the budget, but then 2022, the plan should not exceed $26,130. And as EH Runner had stated in their quotes, that is a worst case scenario, so it could come in under that number. And if we do go over that 25,000, we can accommodate out of our operating budget the difference on that as well. So, any questions at all?
Yes, you had mentioned replace the motor. Is that like automatically they do that, or does it
No,
checked over and decided if it needs it or not?
In the quotes, she does have on there actually refurbishing the motors at $2,800, but they are the championship course motor is 20 years old this year, and the local 9 is original to that property, so I'm guessing 1993. So those motors are beyond their life cycle, where they have put out millions and millions of gallons of water, and they have, especially this year, they have provided everything that they could throughout their life. And by doing it, by replacing those motors rather than refurbishing them, it allows us to put them on the shelf to have a backup where if we do have a failure in the future, Now we can take that motor, put it on, and send the other one out to be either repaired or replaced. So we should experience little to no downtime unless it is in the pump portion rather than the motor portion.
Our failures, are they usually the motors or are they usually the pumps?
Yes, yep. So we had one pump failure, but that was the first outage that we had experienced in my time, and that had been pulled previously, and the shaft inside of it was bent, and that is what caused two motors to go out prematurely. So that is why we would be refurbishing those pump units, is to ensure that the new motors that we put on are going to have the longest possible lifespan that they can. Over time, the shafts get hourglassed and can cause vibrations and shorten the life expectancy.
Well, the other thing I would add is, how long was it down this year? It was at least 2 weeks, wasn't it?
2 weeks.
And I couldn't believe how much of a beating the course took
This
in
year
that
was
time.
brutal.
It really looked, I thought it was gonna get really, really bad. But I heard you had them out hand watering.
Yeah, it is a stressful time anytime that we do lose any of those pumps. Championship course, we're fortunate that it's only 50%. On the local 9, when we lost that 40 horse over those 3 times, that was over 60% of the water on that side of the road. So you have to pick and choose what you're watering at night, and then during the day.
Yeah. So it'd be nice to have one on the shelf so that if we do lose one, it gets installed quicker. And I think if you do that all the time, you always have that, I think you'll find you run into overall less cost as time goes on.
Right. Yeah, it'll make any outages a lot more seamless, because as they come to pick up the unit that does go out, then we can just have them hook the crane onto the one that is sitting right next to the pump station and put it in and fire it up, and we should be good to go until we have everything troubleshot. It wouldn't be a long-term solution to put those back on unless we do refurbish them. But for that 2-week window, we are certainly going to be able to survive through that 2-week window at least.
What is the shelf life on these old pumps so you put it there, let's say we don't have any incidents for 3 years, are we gonna be, in 3 years from now, are we just gonna be able to switch out a pump like that, or is there
It'll
more?
be something that we have to kind of monthly maintain. The shelf life, hard to determine exactly because it will have not run for so long. However, it is something that we will have to go in and manually turn the motor to ensure that the weight of them isn't damaging the bearings that are in there. So as far as an exact shelf life, I don't know exactly. It is something that we could certainly test every once in a while too, and have them test it to make sure it is still something that we could put back into operation.
Well, if they're assembled, set on the shelf in some kind of framework, so that they're sitting the same way they would when they were installed, it shouldn't be an issue, should it?
It shouldn't, no. And as long as we're still spinning the motor to make sure the bearings don't set and take that weight. That was the only thing that was mentioned to me, was if you leave it sit and don't spin it, just it might have bearing issues sooner than later. So any other questions? If not, I'd like to request a motion and second to allow the staff to have EH Renner complete the 2022 portion of the irrigation pump maintenance plan.
I'll make a motion to allow staff to have EH Renner complete the 2022 irrigation pump maintenance plan.
We'll second that.
Motion from Robin, second from Mike. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor may state aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Administrator and staff reports. Pebble Creek Clubhouse change orders with Mr. Knutson.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Unfortunately, I have to come before you tonight with a couple of change orders for the addition to Pebble Creek Golf Course. It's unfortunate, but during any remodeling or renovation, you come across issues that are out of our control. So there are 5 change orders. I'll kind of run through them in order, giving you the descriptions, and then we can discuss them or ask questions where you're at. Change order number 1 is actually a credit to the contract price. We needed to move the condensing units, and instead of having the contractor move those because there's a warranty issue, we had the original installer and electrician do the work. So we will see some expenses operationally, which we will absorb in our operations budget at the golf course, but it resulted in a $3,100 credit to the actual contract price that's being proposed. Number 2 is after plan review from city staff and the city engineer, some changes needed to be made to the elevations to accommodate the full ADA compliance, adding truncated domes, increasing concrete thickness. It also resulted in a little more paving, removal and replacement. That change order was $8,000. The biggest one is the water line. As we went through excavating, there's where the water line comes in, where it was thought to come into the building. It's about 3 feet to the west, which would actually put it right underneath our footing. We thought we could bridge over the footing, and once we actually found it, it's not where it's supposed to be. So we had to reset the line, put a shutoff or a check valve in, and run it 10 feet outside of the existing foundation. The good thing in doing this, if you have a water problem now, our water line sits outside of the foundation, but it did result in additional excavating, additional water lines, and the result was a $12,950 proposed change order. Another issue was the as-built drawings that we went off of with our architect showed the foundation at a set level. The actual level when we did the digging, the foundation of the building is 3 feet lower than what it was proposed on the drawings. So, which means we've got to dig down 3 feet and tie into the existing footing. So it requires additional block work and footing work to make that happen. The result of that was a $3,900 change order. And then as we were redoing the sidewalk, again on part of the ADA, the columns supporting the canopy structure are in the concrete, in ground, and there was some rot and decay after the sidewalk was removed, and it was noticed. So the total cost of the proposed change orders is $23,429. If you recall, when we came to council with this project, we did put a contingency in there of $27,663, primarily for unforeseen issues like this. So we still are underneath that contingency, just barely. But like I said, it's unfortunate. Some of these things we didn't see until you expose it and see what it is. So with that, I'll answer any questions that you may have regarding it.
3 feet seems like quite a bit to be off.
I wonder if they did it because of the way the rest of the lower level is done.
I'm not sure, because of the walkout on the north side and where they had to come down. I'm not sure. I agree with you. 3 feet was shocking to all of us.
Probably why it's that deep. So they all matched.
Yeah, it's probably a good, accurate statement, Mike. I don't know that, but yeah, it was unfortunate that we saw that, because anytime you tie into that remodeling, we've got to go down to the lowest depth to tie into that foundation. So we stepped it up quickly, but it does result in additional foundation footing work and block work. So.
Okay. You needed a motion to approve these change orders?
Yes, please.
1 through 5, is that what it is? I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion from Mike, second from Becky. Any other discussion? Hearing none, those in favor can state aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
Thank you.
2022 squad car purchase, Chief Balloon.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So as I do every year, about this time of the year, I come to you well early in advance of 2022. So what we try to do is get in line for squad cars. To my, what I heard 2 weeks ago is there's already 80 orders that have been placed for 2022 at 1040 Ford in St. Cloud. By now, there's probably quite a bit more. So what we try to do is at least jump in line so we can get the car in a timely manner next year. So doing it now is what would help us to do so. So what we're doing is next year it's squad number 918 that is due for replacement. We anticipate being close to the 90,000 mile mark, which is typical for us to replace them at that point, just to remain safe and workable so we don't get nickel and dime and stuff like that as well. The current bid price through 1040 Ford is $35,175.38. Just of note, when that car was bought, 918, the contract price, I believe, was closer to 25. So that's how much they've gone up. So what we typically do is add a few things like the spotlight, and we make the doors accessible with the same key, that sort of thing. Couple of things that we do, bringing the price up to $36,768.38 from 1040. We have a budgeted in our capital improvement plan, $51,000 per year for squad cars, which would include replacement of other things, rigging, again, transfer of equipment, that sort of thing. I think this year we are closer to $48,000 on the squad car when we purchased it. I have no doubt that next year we'll probably be in a similar ballpark. It's also worth noting the way squad cars are running right now, we are trending to probably take a year off in 2023 from purchasing a squad car, just based on miles and how they're holding up right now. So early to say that, but I think that's where we're headed. I'm hopeful, so we may be able to save a year with the way things are going. So with your permission, or if you have any questions, be looking for motion and second to approve resolution 21-83 for the purchase of a 2022 squad car, and allowing myself to enter into the agreement with 1044 to do so.
Is 1040 the state?
They are state bid. Yep.
Okay. Make a motion to approve resolution 2183, purchase of a new squad car for 2022.
Second.
Motion from Mike, second from Robin. Any other discussion? Hearing none, those in favor may state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Closed city council meeting for real estate negotiations with Ms. Flipson. So I will ask council for someone to make a motion to go into closed sessions.
Make a motion that we move into a closed session.
Do you want to read the verbiage just to make sure we're good?
Really? It's,
Oh, boy.
In Latin, please.
okay, yes. As per Minnesota statute 13D.05 subdivision 3C series 3, I move to recess this meeting so the city council may meet in a closed session to discuss and develop an offer for the 212 acres of real property owned by Becker 2017 LLC within the city of Becker, Sherburne County, Minnesota.
Second.
Did great.
Can you repeat the motion, please?
Motion from Robin, second from Rick. Those in favor may state aye.
Aye.
We are in closed session at 5:24. All right.
So we'll be back.
Did you fall asleep?
I mean, they could all answer all your questions. Some of them, All right, we'll go ahead and reopen the city council meeting at 5:56. And we provided staff direction to go ahead and negotiate a proposal. Anything else? Good. All right, consent agenda with Mr. Przinski.
Madam Mayor, City Council, thank you. October 19, 2021, consent agenda has been revised, so please take note of that. Item number 1, hiring and termination reports from the Becker Community Center and Pebble Creek Golf Course. Item number 2 is a relocation policy presented by the Personnel Committee. Item number 3 is a geotechnical agreement for 97th Street soil borings. And then item number 4 is a donation acceptance resolution from the Becker Lions. And remember, that's for the Snuffy's Landing project going on. If you have questions, I can try to answer. Otherwise, a motion to adopt the consent agenda would be appreciated.
I just have a quick question on the Lions one. So originally that was gonna be, it wasn't like 10 months, something like that. They were gonna do 3,000 a month, 10 months. So I think we've hit that now. I mean, are they gonna continue and possibly do another project, or is?
I think that would be a Phil Knutson response. So Phil, if you can step to the podium, that would be appreciated.
Yes, we're actually working with the Lions, so within the project, they called out the first pavilion project was estimated at a roughly $30,000, and that's what the initial funding was going to be for. I'm working with them to continue on that funding to provide some picnic tables inside there. They're helping with some of the play equipment, the concrete surrounding, the wood chips for any play equipment. And then we would look to go into picnic tables within the park and also provide hiking trails and a fishing pier in the park as well. So I'm trying to get them to just continue funding this project and accumulating, because we're isolating those funds so they can see specifically where the dollars are going. So, so far their revenues are still doing well, and we hope to continue to see the funds coming into that dedicated account.
All right, I am needing a motion.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll second.
Motion from Mike, second from Becky. Any other discussion? None? Those in favor may state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Payment of the bills.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
Motion from Robin, second from Rick. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor can state aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Does council have anything else for the betterment of Becker? If not, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion from Mike, second from Becky. Those in favor can state aye.
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 Opposed? We are adjourned at 5:59.
Good Lord, looks like Willy Wonka in there.